And now, for this week's live edition of The Human Experience. Each week, we bring in a different expert to give us his or her opinion on what it means to be human. This week, we have the honor of hosting Dr. Hedgie the Hedgehog, Professor Emeritus of Anthropology. Oh, I didn't know they had TV shows on this late at night. Can I go to bed now? Hedgie, we're on air. Oh, sorry about that. You really ought to stop airing the program live at 2 in the morning, Ben. I'll take it into consideration. But unless you want to make a fool of yourself, I suggest we get going. Very well then. Distinguished viewers, know that what you lack in numbers, you'll always make up for with your dedication to our program. Hey, that's my line. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm here to discuss worldviews. So, Dr. Hedgie, what is a worldview? It's the way you view the world. Somehow, you have to process all the information you receive on a daily basis and then make decisions with that information. Your worldview is your comprehensive lens for filtering, analyzing, and synthesizing everything you know about the world. So, Dr. Hedgie, what are the 5 major worldviews? Well, there's theism, naturalism, pantheism, polytheism, and postmodernism. Theism is one God, naturalism is no gods, pantheism is we're all God, polytheism is many gods, and postmodernism is you are God. Well, besides for greatly oversimplifying the issue and confusing our listeners, I think that you've done a great job so far, Dr. Hedgie. Thank you. Anyway, why don't we shed further light on this issue by interviewing a proponent of each of the 5 worldviews? That's a great idea. Dog the Dominican Friar, I'm pleased to see that you're willing to be interviewed at such an unreasonably early hour of the morning. Oh, it's nothing. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Hedgie the Hedgehog. And you as well, Dog. So, Dog, how do you answer the 4 basic questions that all worldviews must answer? Who am I? Who is humanity? Why do we search for meaning? And where are we going and why? Well, Doctor, to answer the first question, I would say that I am the creation of a divine being for whom I exist to worship. As far as who is humanity, I would say that they are likewise the creation of a divine being, and that all humans exist to worship the divine being. As far as why we search for meaning, I would say that the divine being has created us with the desire to be significant, and that this desire can only be fulfilled by worshiping the divine being. And as far as where are we going and why, for those of us who choose to worship the divine being, we get to go to heaven, while those who refuse will go to hell. And really, as theists, we believe that the divine being, as the creator and sustainer of the universe, has the right to make the rules and also to punish those who break them. Thank you very much for your time, Dog. Next, we have Otter the Agnostic. Otter, how do you answer the 4 basic questions that all worldviews must answer? Who am I? Who is humanity? Why do we search for meaning? And where are we going and why? I'm glad you asked, Doctor. For the first question, I would say that I am merely the product of evolution. I'm nothing more than the result of my DNA. And then likewise for humanity, I would say that that is the collective term used to refer to all members of the species Homo sapien. As far as why we search for meaning, I would say that we do so because we want our lives to have significance. However, all attempts to find meaning in life are ultimately futile, as we are nothing more than the product of mindless natural processes. As far as the last question, where are we going, there's a somewhat depressing answer that we will die and then be no more, and though the human race will continue evolving without us, we will simply cease to exist. Thank you very much for your time, Otter the Agnostic. For our third interviewee, we have Turtle the Tibetan Monk. So, Turtle, who are you? I am one with the universe. However, I've forgotten that, and thus I'm aware of my own individuality. Okay, Turtle, who is humanity? I believe that humanity is a collection of beings who are all under the delusion that they actually exist. So then, Turtle, why do we search for meaning? Because, as we are one with the universe, we will not be satisfied until we realize that unity again. In other words, we've forgotten who we really are, and thus we want to discover our true nature. Alright, Turtle, for the last question, where are we going and why? I believe that after countless reincarnations, we will eventually regain, or rather realize anew, our unity with universal reality. I thank you very much for your time, Turtle. Next, we have with us Polly the Polytheist. So, Polly, who are you? Polly is the result of some fight or scuffle or incident or relationship between the gods. Okay, Polly, who is humanity? Polly knows that humanity is the result of some fight or scuffle or incident or relationship between the gods. Okay then, Polly. So, why do we search for meaning? Polly knows that since the god created Polly and all other things, Polly and all other things have an innate desire to please them, and thus Polly and other things will not be satisfied until we do. Okay then, Polly. Where are we going and why? Polly knows that what happens to us after we die depends on fate. Fate controls everything in Polly's life. However, fate depends on what we deserve to have happen to us, which in turn depends on what we do in our lives. Polly knows that our ultimate fate depends on the sum total of our actions in life, and that's where Polly and others will go after they die. Lastly, we have Peacock the Postmodernist. So, Peacock, who are you? I am the product of evolution. Alright then, Peacock. Who is humanity? Humanity is the collective term used to refer to all members of the species Homo sapien. Okay, Polly, now for the third question. Why do we search for meaning? Because we are the product of our culture, and our culture values the search for meaning, and thus we likewise value the search for meaning. Okay then, Polly. Where are we going and why? Well, it all depends on what we believe or what our culture believes. What happens to us after we die thus depends on what we think about it or what our culture thinks about it. And this is because truth is relative. Thank you very much for your time, Polly, and have a good night. Or morning, as the case may be. Well, there you have it, folks. The human experience, according to Dr. Hedgie the Hedgehog. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Hedgie, and I assure you that you can go to bed now. Oh, yay! And remember, folks, worldviews matter.